So let's run this application. Run as a Spring Boot application. Okay, the port is already in use, so I will update the port. You have to provide server dot port here. So my port is 202022. Now let's start the application. Okay, one error we are getting. The new driver class is this one, so I am going to update this driver class here. com.mysql.jdbc now cj. That's it. So terminate all. Since it is deprecated, so I'm not going to use this driver class. So I'm using this com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. Run as a Spring Boot application. Okay, now our application is up and running on port number 2022. So let's run this application here. Localhost colon 2022. So here you will get 404 because we do not have any URL or pages that is available on that port number. Our index page we haven't defined. So go to controller. So our URL is emp register. It will open this page. That is the meaning of this controller. If you want to open this index, so you have to define index here also. So automatically it will open that index page. That's why we are getting this 404. 404 means page not found. So we are able to see this page. Now we have to create one form here, and we need to submit that form, and that form will goes to our controller, then again to service, and then it goes to our repository. Then we can save our data. Okay, so now our page open. Here to save our data, I am going to write one method, that is post. So to save the data, we have to use @post mapping. So we'll write one method, public string save emp, and here we have to provide post mapping, and the value whatever it is, nothing but our save, just save URL we can pass. And here I am going to return same page I want to redirect, or some home page we will create one home page and we can redirect there. So here we have to pass model attribute, whatever the name we are taking here, we have to give same name in our HTML page. Here I am taking employee, and the object is employee. Now here we need to call this service first. So how we can call this service have this. So go to here, and we have this service. I have not written any method inside it. So first of all I will write one method here. So to call the same method, we need a repository object here, or our employee repository here. So I am going to use this repository here, private employee repository. So here I will write one public method here, public void save. This method actually call the repositories same method, and we need to pass our object, that is employee here, employee. That is our entity class. It is required to pass entity class. Currently I am not using any DTO or anything. Directly I am passing the same entity class here. Otherwise, so if you want to some other logic or converter, we can write that logic here, and we can convert some other object to entity class, because repository is always required entity class. So currently I am taking the same entity class, but in real time it may be some other object you have you can pass and you can convert that object into entity class, and then you can save. Now we can use this, but here if you see, I have not created instance of this repository. So what Spring does, Spring, if you define annotate this instance variable as auto void, so automatically Spring container will take care of it, and it will create instance of it inside the container, and we can directly use this object and we can call it's available all the methods. Otherwise, if you are not defining or not annotating, then you have to create new object, then you have to use. So that is the flexibility Spring provided us. We can directly use any bean, and we can annotate it by @auto_var and we can use it. Now go to that controller. All the code is done. Just we need to create that instance. Now here if you see, we have done with repository, also done with service. Now we need to write controller. So what controller is using? Controller is using service class, so we need to annotate the service class with auto void. Auto void, I will define this private employee repository, employee service, sorry, employee service. This is our, so employee service. Now we can use this service here because we have auto void it, and Spring Boot will create instance for us, and it is already available. So already object has been created, but we are auto wiring. This is nothing but a dependency injection. This is the concept in Spring. You can refer that. So here before return, we need to save this service.save method we have already created, and there we have to pass this employee, and we all done. So we have done with our save method. Now all Java related code is completed. Now we have to work with our HTML page. So HTML side, I have created this simple page using HTML and theme leaf. So in that form we have some attributes related to theme leaf, whatever the object we are using and whatever the method we are calling and what is the method of. So all these things, so if we declared as @save, it will goes to the save URL. Then whatever the attribute or object we are passing, we have defined, and what is the method. So already it's a post method we are using, that's why I have declared it as post. So in the form tag we have to provide these details. Later whatever the field name we are using, same field name we have to pass here. Let me run and show you what happens. So try to run this application, run as Spring Boot app. Now let's run this application. Okay, now refresh this URL. So this is the registration form we are getting, 1,5,000 skills, Java, HTML, CSS. So first check in the database, is there any records available or not. So it has 0 records, and experience is 2 years 2 months. Address early. Now submit. Okay, we are getting 500 error. Let's check this error. Okay, not accessible. So let's check the database first, then we will go to. So data already inserted, but we haven't defined that particular URL. That's why it's going to give us error, because we haven't defined this home as of now. So similarly, I will create copy and paste this, and will create one home. In this home screen we have only home. Rest of the things I will remove. entire form I removed. Now let's run again. Stop the server or run a Spring Boot app. Now it will go to home page. Sandeep, salary 30,000, DOB, skills Java, HTML, CSS, Spring Boot, etc. Experience 5 years, 2 months, and address Delhi. Now data saved and it goes to home page. Let's check in the database as well. So name, salary, DOB, skills, Spring Boot added, and experience. Address is Delhi. So we have done with our save code. So now in next tutorial we are going to discuss about fetching, how to fetch this data and how to add modify this data, and later we will discuss about how to delete this data from our database.